Hi, you're watching CNBC TV18 and I'm with the amazing team of Scoop. So basically it's a show that portrays the life of a journalist who is accused of murdering or getting her fellow journalist murdered. This is about Jigna Vora and JD. The show is grabbing headlines. It's on Netflix. I'm joined by Hansal Mehta, the creator of the show, and Harman Baweja. Thank you so much for your time. How has the feedback been so far?
It's quite overwhelming. I mean, you sort of sense that something is succeeding, something is working, it's resonating with people, and I think it sort of vindicates some of the choices we made, some of the, the way we decided to tell the story. Nobody is stopping at one episode. People are binge watching the show. It's happened in my house. Friends as far as, in the US, in Cincinnati, I mean, 7 couples have watched it simultaneously, and they said we decided to watch 2 episodes like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but they said you ruined our Friday night. Like the entire Friday night was spent. We saw all 6 episodes. So I think that is the quality.
Harman?
I mean, it's extremely overwhelming for me. Hansal is still used to this kind of appreciation. He pretty much gets it with every release. I think for me it's extremely overwhelming, obviously unexpected, and yeah, it's a long road, but I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah, and I think what has been up, I mean, we have seen you after so long and such a refreshing performance. Where were you all this while? How did you land this role, and tell me about your experience?
Well, I landed this role because of this maverick man on my left. I think it was his brainchild completely. Honestly, I had kind of moved on to different aspects of filmmaking. I was busy writing, producing. We happened to be working on something together, and that's how I think he felt that, okay, listen, there's a spark here, and I think yeah, he lit the spark up pretty well. Honestly, what I was doing for 10 years, I mean, maybe I was waiting for this moment.
Yes.
So I'm in a way happy that there was a nice break. It's refreshing, like you said, so it's good to hear these words, I'll be honest, and yeah, I'm very thankful, very grateful that it's all panning out very well. So very happy about it.
Right. How and why did you choose to pick up this story? What really worked in this story that you chose to tell the whole world about it?
I think I saw a compelling character first. You see, for me, in a story, for me, stories are not about plot, they are about character. So if I see compelling characters, if I see the potential to see characters sort of coming into flesh and blood, and the world that they inhabit becoming the world of the audience, becoming my world first to begin with. I'm also an audience. If that world, I want to see myself, I want to immerse myself in that world, I want to know more about the character and the character's journey. As a filmmaker, there can be no greater privilege than to live so many different lives. I cannot be a stockbroker, I cannot be a professor, I cannot be a lawyer, I cannot be a journalist. But I'm getting to be all these things through my characters.
Mr. Mehta, I want to talk about the casting of the show, the brilliant cast that you've gotten all together, whether it's Harman Baweja, whether it is Zishan Ayub. I think he's played the perfect editor that we have seen. He's so real. And of course, Jagriti Pathak, played by Karishma Tanna. So how did you choose these people, or did it just happen and you thought of the role and they instantly came to your mind?
My casting so far has worked because I've been honest. Whether it's Rajkumar Rao, whether it's Manoj Bajpayee, whether it is Pratik Gandhi, whether it's Harman, whether it's Karishma Tanna, whether it is Zishan Ayub. I think being honest to the character and to trust your instincts when it comes to casting has been the key. And in that, I mean, I've always, Mukesh Chabra has been that force. We've been, sometimes I correct him, sometimes he corrects me. This morning he was telling me, "कि बहुत परेशान करते हो यार आप." He just finished watching the show. He said, "बहुत परेशान करते हो," because we push each other. We don't, there are times when we have cast like in the final episode you will see the lawyer who defends Karishma, Jaimini Pathak. He was cast one day before the shoot because we kept pushing each other. He kept sending auditions. We kept discussing actors, and I kept saying, "No, we can do better."
And I think the universe is thanking Mr. Mukesh Chhabra and you for recognizing the talent of Rajkumar Rao and everyone that you've gotten on board. I
And
think
now
they've been
the
stellar.
universe is going to thank me for bringing Harman Baweja back to life.
I want to, I had so many questions. So I want to first ask you, how was it working with all these people? Because you also, like, after so many years, were making a comeback, if I may use that word. So, did it feel like a first day in classroom, or did you know the trade and you were like, "Arey, ho jayega, main to
नहीं
कर
नहीं ऐसा कुछ नहीं था कि अरे हो जाएगा. I think it was challenging.
Yeah.
I think thankfully the first day of shoot that I had was pretty much a phone conversation, so there was no other co-actor.
Yeah.
I only after we Hansal kind of keeps his cards very close to his chest. Like he doesn't really reveal much to you, right? It's only when the time is right you'll get to know. I think second day of shoot is when I met Prasenjit ji on set. So I went up to him. I said, why is he here? He's such a senior actor. So he's playing the character of Jaideep Sen. Or again, you were going to tell me when. He said, now, when your shot's ready, go for it. So, you get nervous because there are such stalwart actors, such phenomenal performers, and you want to make sure that you don't stick out like a sore thumb. You kind of blend into this milieu of, amazing bunch of actors.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's the confidence that he probably had in me. And I'm glad I'm at least not sticking out as a sore thumb and kind of blending into the world of these actors.
Not at all. And I want to ask you something, that is it
He's
fine?
being very humble.
Yeah.
He's being very humble.
Don't have to, please.
Because, why he's being humble? Because he's not seen the show. So he doesn't know that, when we were editing the show, you get a sense, when the first cut started coming, I said, we have, I think something special we've hit upon. You know it, you sense it.
Yeah.
That there's something special we've hit upon with Harman, that sweet spot where the character, you don't know who he is. Where is he? Because his face is very neutral. He seems like a nice guy, and he's flawed. He's doing things, but yet he's not a villain. By the end, your heart goes out to him.
Yeah.
So I think he's just being very humble because he has not seen the show. He's not really evaluated his own arc.
Yeah, maybe give him that cinnamon perfume. I don't know. What was that? Was it a...
Well, that's Karan. Blame it on Karan. I asked him, I said, please give me a cinnamon perfume, you wear it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how a cinnamon perfume will smell. Well, I cook a lot and I can't think of putting cinnamon on people.
Imagine smelling of the kitchen.
They'll start smelling like Nihari.
That makes for great meat, but...
Yeah. So, yes, let's move on from Nihari and cinnamon. So, Harman, like you said that, the comeback was challenging, but then you blended, and then the entire team looked very serious, of course, given the story. But how was it on sets? Did you have your own fun time, or was it very serious? Because is he a strict boss? Or?
No. He's, I'll tell you something, and we've actually not had this conversation. He has a very smooth technique, and I have a feeling that I don't think he's also aware of it. I think it's almost second nature to him. It's like it just happens.
Yeah.
The atmosphere on set and the conversations that you're doing before the shot, chai, coffee, you're waiting for the light, for the setup, will kind of start actually prepping you into the scene. Very casually he'll just say, "Ha, ye scene acha hai yaar, this is an important part," and it's dropped, and it's after that it'll be like, okay, I'm sipping chai. But he knows that has gone registered into the actor's mind, okay, that this is the intonation required here. So it's not very, he'll not come like, बहुत important scene hai, so please isko correctly karna, this is the real, because the minute I think you do that to an actor, you immediately, all your guards are up, the entire ease and relaxation with which you want to be. So I think that's half the job, is to make sure that you as an actor feel very, very relaxed on set. Like if I was in the cabin where I was doing, most of my scenes, honestly, after a point, like I felt it's my place. It was almost like I would pull a chair for someone to sit. So almost felt like it's my office, and that's how he does it. So you don't realize, but you own the space. You're comfortable with the actors. You're chilling. I don't think anyone actually went to the van. We were always on set. Shot hai, nahi hai, 2 घंटे, 3 घंटे घर में.
We all hang out.
बातें कर रहे हैं. So and that comes from the captain of the ship.
Yes.
If he's kind of maintaining that, then everyone's kind of maintaining their distance. But if he's kind of sitting and creating that atmosphere, even though he started the conversation and 5 minutes later he's gone because he has to set up a shot and he's. But we've continued. So that camaraderie that comes, you know, between the actors, the comfort. Then a fellow actor can look at another actor and you know, give and take becomes better. So, you know, those finer things, they all add up to eventually, I think, you know, come out like everyone's good in the show. You know, from whatever I've been reading, I've heard from everyone, everyone's good. So it's not easy, right? To put so many different actors and, you know, some very strange and incredible choices of actors like myself, to put them all in one milieu and make it work. I think it's very, very challenging, and it's, you know, deserves a two thumbs up.
How do you consume your news? Because you are somebody who's very active on Twitter, who's very vocal also. You speak up on critical issues, and you don't shy away from taking positions when they're required. So what is your view on the current state of Indian journalism, and how do you consume news?
So consume news, if you want to ask me, I don't watch TV. So I keep myself away because unfortunately there's no news there. It's more, it's very opinionated and it's biased. So I don't really engage with that kind of bias, and it's also it's very crowded. Visually it's very crowded. It affects, I don't know, it affects my mental balance. When I watch news with the amount of things that are happening on one screen, it's a bit unnerving. So I consume it like everybody else. Digitally, a lot of things are consumed. I read newspapers.
What about you?
I think the beauty of today's times is that if anything is newsworthy, it will reach you. You know, whether it's through your a WhatsApp group, whether it's through some out of social media, whether it's through a lunch break chatter with your peers, it reaches you. You know, and that's great, because the information spread is just very wide and very fast today. So if it's newsworthy, it'll get to you. I'm very much like Hansal. I don't really, you know, I've literally just got a television a few years back for the first time in my life. I never had a TV. Yeah, so, but now, because I think viewing has become more, you know, it's my decision what I want to watch. Ever since digital's come around, it's based on your time. So, you know, it's kind of made life a little more easy and flexible. But yeah, so I think that's anything newsworthy will reach you.
There's something that really struck me, which was about representation in the kind of content we are seeing, whether it is gender, whether it is caste. And I want to talk about caste essentially, because the kind of shows that are getting made today, whether it is Kathal, this movie, whether it is Bheed, whether it is The Hard. So they're the lead actors. They are very proudly identifying themselves from the so-called low caste community, because earlier there was this massive criticism that why is the savior an upper caste person. But do you think that finally that awareness has come in, finally the lead actors and finally the filmmakers and creators of shows have had this realization that the representation from all communities is important?
You see, it's an evolving process. Okay, we have spent years and years in a certain kind of conditioning. We've been conditioned to be a certain way, to treat the Brahmin as the savior, to be patriarchal in our attitude towards women, to treat somebody who belongs to the LGBTQ community as an other, to treat somebody from a lower caste as the other, you know, to make them invisible. Now, that conditioning takes time to change, and I think we are seeing that change. It's a beginning of change, and we still have a long way to go. And nobody's above board, including me. We still have a long way to go, but we have to make you know, conscious efforts in doing that. And in that, one of the most key factors first is our representation is not necessarily just by holding placards. It is about how you show represent those stories and those characters. Like, simple example, Gujaratis, you know, more often than not, even now, they are made to talk in a particular way, as if they are jokers, as if they are comedians, you know. So the whole community gets stereotyped. Muslims, all of them wear surma and wear skull caps. They get stereotyped. So that stereotyping of people, so low caste, very dark face, you know. So that stereotyping is what we need to first end. That this character being from this community will look like this, you know. that doesn't exist in the real world.
Yes.
So, like Zishan as Imran Siddiqui, he could be Imran, he could be Rajesh, he could be Solomon.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, his identity is not his religion. His identity is that he's an editor,
Yeah.
and is an editor that everybody would want.
Yeah. 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 Harman, anything that you're looking forward to now that, you know, we were talking about the diversification of content on OTTs, any type of genre you want to get into, any specific filmmaker or creator you want to associate yourself with, work with?
There's this one guy I'm trying to work with. I think honestly, no. I'm enjoying this moment.
Okay.
I'm very thankful. Honestly, like I don't think I'm thinking ahead.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy. Also,
You should take a break,
Yeah, no?
go on holiday.
yeah, as you say.
Where do you want to go?
Well, it's my dad's 70th coming up, so we're as a
Oh.
family we're off to Srinagar.
Oh, nice.
So yes,
lovely.
so Kashmir will be a nice break for a few
Yes.
days.
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, so I just want to enjoy this moment, be
Hmm.
thankful, grateful, and फिर आगे, you know, life will pan out for itself.
Yeah.
I can keep thinking and planning.
Definitely.
Eventually, it all matters as to what
Yeah.
eventually comes your way and how it pans out. So
Yeah.
enjoy the now.
Yeah. Apart from your show, is there anything that you're reading or watching these days that you absolutely love? Anything? Music, films, books, anything that's keeping you occupied?
There's too many things.
I was just
Way,
going to say,
way too many things.
my brain's going, there are so many different of.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hooked on to this song, if it matters. There's a song called Badal
Okay.
by Jasmine
Okay.
Sandler. It's an old song, but have you heard it?
Yeah, I'm hooked on to a song called Sadgi by Zishan Ali.
Zishan Ali is a
Yeah, it's
great
amazing.
talent,
It's a
I think. I'm
beautiful-
going to
it's a
share this
beautiful
with
song.
him. Yes. He's a very talented guy.
Also, here I'll hear this one. You hear Badal.
Badal.
It's
Yeah.
too good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, one last question, because we are a business channel. I wanted to
Yes.
ask you something about managing money, and also how soon should people learn to manage their money. It doesn't matter how much they earn, but when did you start, and how, I mean, are there any tips for people who come to Bombay to work in the film industry? Because I think it is a very expensive city. Harman.
Well, I can draw it from my own experience. I was studying, you know, in LA many years ago. I was 19, 20 that time, and when my parents, when they came to visit me, my mum was shocked because I had a diary where I noted literally I'm saying it even said 50 cents when I took a bus. I had written that down. So
Okay.
everything I spent for those last 6 months was written down to the last penny I could account for.
He's just being very good.
No.
He's
And the reason for it was different.
He's had ridiculous credit card bills once
No,
or twice.
that was when I started making money. That time was totally dependent on my parents. But
Yeah.
You spent money on your father's credit card once.
yeah, but that was allowed, yeah. That's allowed once in a while.
Yeah,
you're
he's
allowed.
saying you were rich. It's okay.
No, it was humble beginnings to start with. Then eventually dad got success. Yeah, we come from a very, very humble background.
Yeah.
But my thing is that it's important to know, I think, how you spend, where you spend. And I think if you're making the money,
Yeah.
I believe you should spend it.
Yes.
You enjoy
हम लोग बचाते रहते हैं. I used to tell my parents this.
Huh.
You finally worked so hard, you all have made money.
Yeah.
You don't have to save it for me.
Yeah.
You don't have to save it for my sister. You've given us a good upbringing,
Hmm.
good education. We will build ourselves from here on. नहीं तो वो आप बचाते रहे तो एक जनरेशन के लिए, फिर हम
Yeah.
बचाएंगे अपने बच्चों के लिए, वो बचाएंगे अपने बच्चे के लिए, फिर वो निकलेगा. इनमें से एक जनरेशन में से एक बेवकूफ निकलेगा, वो सब उड़ा देगा. So then you're sitting and saying, what was the point of all these years of saving? So I
Yes.
believe you should have a balance, but you should
Yeah.
also live your life, you know.
Yes.
And
yes.
it was one life.
Yes.
So, you know, yeah. On the individual self. On a business front, it's a whole different story. There
What
are
about you,
sharp-
Mr. Mehta?
In Scam there was a line where Harshad Mehta said, I believe in that. Risk hai to ishq hai.
Okay.
So yeah, I take chances. I
Yeah.
take risks, but over the years I've just started making money, to be honest. So now I'm a bit cautious, you know, about money at times. But I take my chances, and I also believe that you should enjoy money while you have it.
Yeah.
It's well deserved.
Yes.
Lots of well deserved.
Yes, yes, and please keep making this great stuff that you make. I think as a viewer, I think it's a gift, and it gives us a lot of options, and it's a rich gift that we receive from you when you make such content. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you so
And
much.
all the best for the show. I think, like I said, the word of mouth is doing really well, and the show is getting great feedback. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you so much.